Yo, yo, yo.
Yo, what's up, people?
We back.
We back.
And we deeper than ever.
We deeper than ever. And we got a lot of response for that. We got a lot of good response for that last episode, man.
Yep. Yeah, we did. We did.
Yes, man.
Hey, man.
I want to thank Gerald.
Yep. Biscuit.
Yep.
He ain't my boy,
Yeah.
but we be all right.
Yeah. AK Biscuit, we want to thank you, man. A lot of good response so far. I think we put a post out there saying you can still be successful without the traditional 4-year degree.
Yep.
A lot of people show love to it. Shout out to the Fat Boys. I did the Fat Boy post.
Hey.
A lot of the
that 500-pound bench press, baby.
Benching. Shout out to Big B. Big B posted his YouTube to let you guys know it was real of him benching the 500 pounds in the comments. Shout out to Gavin, who is an undersized lineman in the wide receiver body.
He got them receiving skills.
You know what I'm saying? We want to thank y'all, man. So I want to just start off with Don Staley.
Don Staley, man. I don't understand why it took the SEC so long to respond to all the issues behind that Missouri. I think it was the Missouri AD called her out, right? Called her out, told her like that she was. I don't know exactly what it is. Do you know what it was exactly?
Pretty much, she told the crowd to chant those bad things
against Missouri.
But people know, like, might have been a week before that, maybe 2 weeks before that.
Yep.
They played Missouri. And I usually don't watch too much women's college basketball. This is like in the Carolina playing the Final Four.
That's right. March Madness.
That had to be the most physical women's game I've ever seen.
Really?
I mean, like, physical. I'm talking they were extra jabs, extra pushes, extra leans, and
damn, that's crazy.
So for that to be happening, and everybody, you know that, like, you know, nothing going on. So I was like, okay. So
hey,
it's all gravy.
So until she sued him, that's when the SEC stepped in. She had to sue him for defamation before they actually said, okay, let's consider that he said something incorrect.
You know, my thing is that, and she's only suing for an apology.
Yep.
So my thing is, you get over it, guy, because and she got kicked out of the game.
Yeah, she did.
She did get kicked out of the game.
I don't get it though. I really don't know why you would try to do something to another coach like that. I understand they're rivals in the SEC or whatever, but man, we all humans.
Yeah, man.
Right? I mean, why you gotta be like that?
And I think it's just that that's keeping all the way a buck. We didn't have anybody talk about Missouri's women basketball ever.
Never. I haven't. I'm not a fan. I guess.
Ever. So I think they also saw this as a time to shine light on their program and use it for their own publicity, I guess.
Possibly. Just like UCF national champions.
Oh, man. Don't get me started on...
you already know I got to shout out UCF.
On the UCF national champions.
National champions all day. They can't play with us.
Hey,
they ain't coming.
And they went to Disney World.
Yep, had a parade. Got license plates. Got it written in the Florida law.
And didn't they give the coach a raise?
They gave the coach... No, he got the bonuses. All the coaches. Even the coach left the team, they gave him a bonus. Hey, that's when you know we won the national championship.
I guess they say, hey, if we going out, we're going to go all the way out.
I got to give you something, though, about that, right? So, we might not have won the national championship, but they took Louisville's away. So, did Louisville really win their national championship?
They did. I don't care. Whenever they do those things, like they vacate, like I don't like what they did to
talking about USC?
USC, even when they did to Bobby Bowden.
Yep.
When Bobby Bowden was the coach for Florida State, they had some few discrepancies.
Sure.
And they vacated some of his wins, which when they did that, he wasn't the most winningest coach in college football history anymore.
No way.
Yeah. And when they did that to him, which I thought was pretty cold-blooded. That was pretty cold-blooded, and everybody know that Bobby Bowden is the man.
I'm telling you.
Everybody know about Bobby Bowden is the man. So you know, that's just my
Eminem podcast. What about the NCAA now? Men's basketball, they're coming out that one agent had so many lunches and dinners with every player on the planet. It seems like one from every school at least. They had Duke on the list, Michigan State on the list, former Carolina players, former Clemson players. They had a Kentucky player. I'm sure they had a North Carolina player. I mean,
I think it is what it is.
I think they're not going to do anything until ever, probably.
The only reason why the FBI got involved with it because I think it was some form of money laundering going on.
Yep, it was a federal investigation against the school because the school takes government money.
Yes.
Fair enough.
So they're trying to figure out where's the money going and all that kind of...
But those kids are going to get it, man. I mean,
well,
don't get me wrong. Some of them are okay, even if they do get it, because they'll eventually make it somewhere. Whether they're playing in the D League or in the NBA or overseas, somewhere. Hopefully they make it because they were the top player in high school somewhere.
Yeah.
Right? Or they wouldn't be talking to him like that.
They wouldn't be. And I just think that get off your high horse.
That's a whole different story, though. I have a thing against the NCAA. The NCAA, they something else, man. To me, I think that's an organization that needs a restructuring. Or at least a realignment or a look at or
I think so.
Fix their policies.
They're like organized.
To line up.
It's like I don't be careful with my verbiage. It's like organized crime almost, in my opinion.
Yep.
It's like they get the you work for free. Well, they say they give you a scholarship which is worth
X amount.
Yep. And so I'm like,
they feed you food. I think food account.
Yeah, they feed you. But how much money?
And
you
that was
making off me?
after a certain guy who got caught trying to get. What was it happening? You remember? It was a football player. I think it's at Colgate or something like that. And he got caught with no food, or they didn't have food for him, or something like that.
That happens a lot.
It was an NCAA tournament too.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, it was a basketball game. He shouted on television, like, "Yo, man, we ain't getting nothing to eat, but we'll be okay." I don't know. And then the NCAA changed like a whole rule.
Yeah, because it's not right. Because Adrian Foster had the same story. He said he would come home from Tennessee sometimes and be hungry.
Yep.
From the Tennessee games, and he was like a top. That was a top program.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, they changing rules on the fly. They really need to self-evaluate, look at their insides, and think we may have some issues here, like the North Carolina Notre Dame thing, right? North Carolina had that program where you could graduate, everybody makes it through.
Oh man, hey, don't.
No, don't just hear me out. Hear me out. All right, so they didn't get in trouble.
Okay.
Right? They got no reprimand, nothing. Why? Because it was an equal opportunity for everybody.
Everybody could take the
right?
test. Yep.
Notre Dame had a couple guys helping their students do some tests or homework or whatever it may have been, and they get like everything against them. I think they had some sanctions of some sort, or that they got banned from something. I don't know, or scholarship losses, whatever might have happened. I mean,
I'm actually surprised though because Notre Dame, Stanford, Northwestern, a couple of other schools, as far as this Division I football, they have different standards when it comes to scholarships. Like they can't even offer you a scholarship unless you are accepted into the schools on the regular.
For sure, under their
student.
regular. Definitely.
But
and if that's the case, why are they so hard on Notre Dame? I don't understand.
I was Notre Dame hard on themselves.
No. This is NCAA ruling that came down on them.
Because it still wasn't fair though.
I know.
The North Carolina thing, anybody can do it, whether you choose to do it or not.
For sure.
Notre Dame was special treatment for special players, which happens every day. I don't know how they got caught, but it happens.
Yeah, somebody must have said something or whatever. But at the same time, I think, like, I told you about that, right? I watched that video on YouTube, Day in the Life of a Kicker. Some FAU kicker, the FAU kicker currently, or something like that. I don't know.
Telling the guy that had a YouTube video he had to stop playing football?
No, it's a different guy. Yeah, this guy, he just made a video a day in his life as a football player.
Okay.
As a kicker, specifically a kicker. Like, he woke up, had to go running, and then had to go to practice, ran in practice, came back, ate a little bit of lunch, did homework, all the way till like 1 o'clock. Second practice, get off at about 4, 5 o'clock, and then he's like, I'm going to take an hour nap and I'm going to hit the homework. He took a 3-hour nap because he fell asleep. He woke up 8 o'clock, 8:30, ate 2 meals, right? And then, bam, back at it, finishing homework from like 9 to 11 or 9:30 to 12 or something. Went back to sleep, and then the next day is the same grind.
Did he have any classes?
I mean, I don't know.
I heard no classes in.
I don't know.
Okay.
He didn't show that, I guess. And maybe he did go to class and then I might have missed it. But I'm trying to say, like, if you got 2-a-day practices,
which is real,
tell me when you have time to study.
You can't. And they remind you, you're not there for your academics. You are there because you are a football player. You are there on a football scholarship.
Then they should just pay them and call it even, and let them do what they got to do.
Because you don't want them to work. NCAA says unfair advantage. I heard a perfect example is like if you are a pianist.
Yep.
And you get a full musical scholarship to Berkeley.
Yep.
Berkeley doesn't stop you from cutting the album.
Really?
Berkeley doesn't stop you from taking gigs on the side. Berkeley
so why is it the same? Why isn't it the same for NFL? I mean, NFL, NCAA.
I want to know. My question is, when were these rules put in place? Because they weren't there from the beginning. Because it's constantly changing.
Yep. Somebody must have got some extra benefit, and now it's a violation.
I don't want to play the race card.
Hey.
But I'm gonna call things how I see it. Football and basketball in college, we think the percentage is black, and I'm just going to be ballpark numbers.
You saying football?
I say football.
Football in college?
College, Division I college, at 100%.
I think it's actually lower than the NFL. The split.
I believe that.
Yeah,
lower
than the NFL. I'll say 60.
I believe that.
60, and then 40% everybody else.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I was coming down like to. We don't want to. I don't know, because I don't feel like I'm reaching, but I don't get it. Like, this the only sports that I can think of, or the only field that they require you where they don't want you to. You can't get money off your likeness. If you go to school at Stanford for software,
yep,
you can work at Microsoft.
Oh yeah, internships and things like that.
Forget internship. If they just say forget internship.
Yeah.
We want you to work here. Or we want you to come here on the side and get paid. Like be just a part-time employee. Yeah, like what you.
I'm employed. I go to school.
Yeah.
I mean.
No, but let's take this into like if you was going to school on a 4-year scholarship for full program. If they had a all
right, like I did in college.
Yes.
I had a full ride. I worked at a car wash. I mean. They can't even work at a car wash.
Yes. So yeah. So they're not telling you can't work because you got.
Shout out to Car Wash Palace, Orlando.
Shout out to the car wash.
Yo, my peeps out there.
But so like I don't know.
Like I said, I think the organization itself needs to step back, needs to figure out how to align their rules properly, or do something because they're inconsistent. I mean, it's as bad as for what I think is referee calling in the NFL, and that's pretty inconsistent.
It is pretty inconsistent, and they they're going to work on that this summer too.
Oh yeah, well now the referees are going to be full time, so
yeah,
that's a pretty.
But
good
they already get paid good money because
but now full time they get more training.
Yes,
right?
That's true.
They don't have to worry about their regular day job. Now, if you mess up, you should get in trouble.
But I found referees just don't have regular day jobs.
No, I'm sure they don't.
No, that's it. To be a referee, you have to make a certain amount of money before you're a referee.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. I know Ed Hockley was a lawyer. Or something.
Think about it. If you look, because I started like looking at like all these referees are like doctors, lawyers, something. Because what it is, they want your financial situation not to be dependent.
Yep, because then you
could be swayed with bribes and stuff like that.
Yo, you better call this play this way.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So I was like,
I need a 2nd and 10 at the 3-minute mark.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I thought that was pretty crazy.
It's not crazy. I mean, it's doable.
It makes sense though.
Yep. But that's what I'm saying. At least now, maybe they'll get some retired people or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah, they'll figure it out. But anyway, I thought that was pretty interesting, to say the least. To say the least.
All right, man. On to the main one.
On to the main one.
So today's topic was
on to the main one.
The American Dream versus the American Hustle.
But you guys want to listen, because I think I'm gonna share that. I need to share this on my page too, because
go for it.
Because I want people to really get what we about to say. Cause this is about to be some real. So we're gonna be multitask streaming.
Stream on one hand, share on the other hand.
Yes.
Talk on the third hand.
Yeah, we're gonna
be all right.
we're gonna be multitask streaming because I really want the people to really get this because we about to go into some stereotypes.
Oh yeah. We about to
some myths.
Yep.
And some other things.
Man, storytelling all the way.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Cause and all this came about just from a conversation.
Definitely.
All this came from a conversation at the job.
At the job, we were at the shop, chilling, and then we just talked about it. I mean, what's the driving force behind what people do?
Yep. And their mindset.
Yep. And how is it spread out through their community?
Yep. I'm about to go live right now. Make sure I tag him in them podcasts in it.
There you go.
Everybody, please.
We're gonna be live on 2 separate hands.
Yep. Because I just, and what happens is almost like the man in the room. Some words like you hear people when people don't think you are who you are, and they say things, and you're like, oh, that's how you really think.
Yep.
Oh, that's how you really feel.
It's the perspective thing, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
It's the way. Man, excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
It's the way that people think, and the way that you kind of raised or taught, right? Like sometimes it's shown in a way, right?
Mm-hmm.
I always say how the media always only shows you what they want you to see. It's like magic. It's like magic. Where are you disappearing to? Oh, he running away. He can't handle the truth. He can't handle the truth. Nah, man. I started off though. How about that? I started off. So we were talking about it, and I talk about this all the time with a bunch of people. Like I talked with my homeboy at school. Shout out to John. We were out there one day, and I was talking about like, do you really see any homeless Indian people in the U.S.? Right? I've never seen one. If you've seen one, shout it out. Put it in the comments. In the U.S., okay? And don't get me wrong, this is a double-edged sword because I know the other side of it too. For those of you who always say like, oh yeah, man, Indian people smart, this, that, the other. Yeah, because you're only seeing the certain few that got away from the original, from the country and came to U.S. for a greater opportunity to succeed and hopefully attain their goals. And if it's not their goals, it's goals they're trying to lay down for the future generation. Right? Like my grandfather, he came here in 1970 as a civil engineer.
Okay.
Right? He came first, and a few years later, my grandma, my dad, and my uncle, they all came later on. Charlotte, North Carolina, 1970.
And what part of India were they from?
It's Gujarat, India, right? Specifically, Gujarat. Yeah, go ahead.
Cause y'all, we're gonna get Michelle can get a peek behind the door. I'm gonna ask him the questions that everybody always asks him. But how was his lifestyle in India?
It's actually pretty good.
Okay.
At least from a grandfather's side.
Okay.
And in general, like if you have a decent profession, it's not too bad to live over there, right? But if you look at the way that the money is here versus the money is there, right? Our money outweighs their money as far as $1 single dollar is actually worth about $60 over there.
Okay.
Right. And it depends. Obviously, it fluctuates with time and inflation and things like that. Right. And how the entire economy for each country is. But I mean, people come here for a reason.
Yeah.
Right. They're not coming here just because it's that good over there. You can make it over there. Don't get me wrong, but it might be a little bit harder than it is over here.
And is it over there? Is there like America is such a capitalist country where anybody can make it. Over there, is it a ceiling? Even like I call it like an invisible ceiling that you will not make over this much as a.
I mean, I think in any country, if you're an entrepreneur, right? All right, there's a difference between okay, I got a career. I'm an engineer. I just work as an engineer every single day. That's gonna get you a ceiling. You're gonna hit something and that's it. You may either be a manager or upper manager, or maybe you'll get to CEO, but you're gonna hit a ceiling, right? And if you were to do some side things, right? All right, well now I got a farm, and I'm in engineering.
Okay.
Or I got 5 farms and a business, and I got a partnership with my homie, right? Your ceiling raises depending on you.
Okay.
Right? So I think like I said, I'm always a true believer that everyone has the same amount of potential. Some people have a little bit of starting advantage based on their environment, but everyone has the same potential. Anyone can reach where they want to reach.
Okay.
And all the resources are here. It's a little bit more difficult over there, I think, as far as schooling and things are concerned in the beginning.
Okay.
Post-secondary, definitely schooling's way better over here than over there. Over there, I think their kindergarten until like 9th or 10th grade is way better than over here because there's a lot more discipline. That's here nor there. But that's what I'm saying. I mean, it doesn't really matter where you are. I think you have the same opportunity wherever you are to be successful in that place. I'm not saying you're going to be driving a Maserati in India and you come over here, you can't even afford a Maserati. That can even be the case.
Okay.
So, but there's some things over there that are cheaper than here. Like food over there is way cheaper than food over here.
Okay.
Yep.
Because there's such abundance of it, or the demand, or the amount of money.
I think it's just the way that it worked out. Yeah, I couldn't tell you the logistics behind it. It's just it is how it is over there.
All right. So your granddad comes here in the 70s.
70s, yep. And then he's out and about working in like Alabama, West Virginia, Kentucky. Civil engineer working in coal mines, digging up coal and things like that. That just sounds so bad. But yeah, he's doing his thing, and then he's sending the money back to my grandma to make sure my dad and my uncle are raised right. Because both of them came here in middle school. Well, my uncle was in middle school. My dad was in high school, 9th grade. They both went through high school and college in Charlotte, UNCC.
Okay.
So, I mean, they made it, right? My grandfather came here for a reason. They made it. And my uncle and my dad both had professional careers.
Okay.
Right? They both had a degree, and I guess that was their goal. I'm the first generation born here, right? I got a degree now, working on a second degree, doing what I got to do. And then hanging out with you, meeting you, we started podcasting, right? We're trying to open our avenues up. So they were the first link for me personally. And now I'm trying to be that link that connects to my future generations.
Okay. But you should be. I'm gonna say something. Get your people. What's going on, y'all? Hey, and like and share.
Like and share.
Let me tell you something. I think about the best thing about y'all people. I'm gonna tell my story.
Go for it.
Well, it's not my story. I'm gonna say my family story with my grandmother, my mother's mother. The community you guys have as brown people. That's where we use today. Brown people.
Brown people. Oh yeah. Even our colors, brown people.
Brown people is so strong, and I hear a lot of comedians say brown people too.
Oh yeah.
It's so strong that the reason why we see we won't allow you to fail. I've heard you told a story about different individuals to where they might not have I'm gonna just say the drive and desire or the want to, but then somebody else says no.
Yep.
You gonna work for me? We gonna get this thing right. We gonna get this thing together, and we gonna give you your own.
And you do you.
And then now you're successful. Like we won't give you the option to fail.
Kind of thing.
Because if you fail, we fail.
Yep.
That is really, really, really deep.
It goes in. It looks like, okay, well, if they failed, that I'm a failure. I failed you, kind of thing, right? So, like I was telling you, people say I lost my job, right? I have no money anymore. My savings account is dried up. I got nothing going for me right now. I bet you if I ask someone from whether it's in my community, my temple, my family, anybody, someone will be willing to put me on their couch and either allow me to work for them or find me an opportunity to work. Yep. And stack up.
Because you guys I'm actually just to go and take a side note. Cause that's because I guess you guys as a culture saying, if you fail, we don't want the perception of that there's a brown people doing bad.
Possibility.
So should I say it was somebody who you wasn't, well, it's still family, who you wasn't connected to, but still brown, that had a different faith. Does the brown overcome the faith, or does the faith overcome the brown?
Depends on the individual. I can say that.
Okay.
Depends on the individual.
Okay.
I mean, I'm sure there's people that'll say, "Oh, wait a minute, you faith-wise, whoa,
You know what I'm saying?
we're not aligned, so it's not gonna work."
Yeah.
And then there's those who are just genuinely caring for another human being, right?
Mhm.
Doesn't matter what you believe in, as long as you believe in something, we're good, right? And maybe that's even wrong to say. I'm saying like, okay, you're a human being, you're struggling, you need something, we got you. I mean, it just depends on the person.
You are still a reflection or a reflector of
Yep.
our culture to the outside world. Me and you might know we have different faiths, but the outside world does not know we have different faiths.
Yep.
And
Exactly.
so it's almost like house business. We know we're not kicking it, but we're going to
Exactly.
keep this house business clean.
Straight. Yep.
So, okay. Okay. That's pretty good.
But that's so. I always. So how do we All right, man. I lost my train of thought for 2 seconds. How would we define the term hustle? All right. Is it the motivation, right? Like you having a dream, and then you have the American hustle, or is it you have the American dream, and is it a hustle? Like, you get what I'm saying?
I think the American dream is a hustle. I never thought about that till you just said that.
Right? Do you think that it's a myth? You think that the American dream is a myth?
I think the American dream is a marketing scam.
You think so?
I think so. To push the American agenda,
Okay.
which is still run by 1%,
For sure.
who controls everything that's involved in the American dream: mortgages,
Yep.
banks,
Yep.
livestock,
Oh yeah.
vehicles, anything that you consider. Think about it. Everything in the American dream is mostly tangible things.
Yeah. You want a house?
House, car, family, which you have to most time have to go to a doctor, which is
Yep.
the hospital, which is now I think the American dream is all tangible. I've never heard of American dream saying, "I just want to feel,
Be peaceful
I just want to have peace,
or happiness,
happiness."
or they think happiness is attained by achieving those things.
All these tangible things.
Yep.
So, and I think if you really look at what America is a hustle, and I think if we were to treat it as such, we would prosper. I think people who
Definitely.
treat it as a hustle, I believe they prosper, and because they know, okay, this is what it is, this is what I need to do to get here, and this is what I'm going to do to get here. See, and I also think this plays a big part in it too. When your family leaves, I got another story I want you to tell towards the end. When your family leaves India, they have a home.
Yep.
Your granddaddy can probably trace his generation from.
We were just talking about that last week with me, my grandma, my aunt, my cousin. We were sitting there, and it's just funny because of the way that nicknames occurred.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a superstition thing. I mean, it's just funny. Like they'll name you like weird names for your future benefit. If they think you weren't gonna live, they would name you like trash. Literally, like the term trash.
Because they thought you weren't going to make it?
Yeah.
Wow.
But that naming that would allow you to live. Man, it was some crazy stuff. We were laughing so hard. I was like, "Oh man!"
So what was the ugly baby?
I mean, it's not about the ugly baby thing. I mean, they just thought like you will not survive, like you're gonna die or something like that. They would name you some crazy name.
Wow.
It was not name. It was either. I hope it was a nickname, if I'm not mistaken, but it might have been the real name. I mean,
Okay.
It was just.
It could have been.
It could have been. Well, that's what everybody called them.
Okay.
That's what everybody called them by. But yeah, so like I can only go as far back as my grandparents and maybe their mom and dad, right? Maybe depends. But they can go back like grandparents on grandparents on grandparents.
Yeah. So they can draw from a place. This is the place we are from. If we leave this place we're from, we're leaving here for a mission. We're not leaving here to wander. We're not leaving here. What if? So when you leave this place, they already have in vision what they're going to do.
Exactly.
Which is a huge head start for where I'm about to go with mine, because that is a good starting point.
Oh yeah.
Because we're not leaving here winging it. I'm leaving here with a plan.
Oh yeah.
Even if I'm going to get here illegally, I do what I need to do to get here. When I get here,
we got something to do.
I have a plan.
Yep. That's the real hustle.
Yeah.
So thug motivation.
Thug motivation. Shout out Jeezy.
Jeezy.
So this is I'm just gonna go with just my grandmother. I'm not gonna do my great grandmother.
Yep.
Just to show you how, because most of my family, I'm not gonna give a percent, but a large amount of my family. I'm into like 97% of it. I'm going with the polite side is from South Carolina.
Okay.
More so Jasper County, South Carolina, Jasper, Clio, which then the polite, then it ties into the Knicks, which is another side, but it's still low country.
For sure.
For the most part. And so my mother's mother, and I had to do some research yesterday. Shout out to my Uncle Joel, because some of these things you just don't know.
Yep.
My Uncle Joel was just my mother's brother. My grandmother left Jasper County at 18. She wanted a better life.
Oh yeah.
So she moves to Bridgeport, Connecticut.
So, question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Like in our community, a lot of people don't move out at 18.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And if they do, it's like to college.
Mm-hmm.
And even if it's in college, the parents usually take care of their kids. Is that the same?
My God, no. My God, no.
Dang.
Somebody probably rolling around laughing right now. Just hearing you say
I know.
that.
I just want to ask, right? I mean, I don't know.
Oh, remember now, especially now, this is time has changed now. Parents are more accepting of their children staying. So you guys imagine that my grandma, this is probably 1950s, 60s.
For sure.
At 18, most women are married.
Dang, okay.
Already married.
Yep.
Most men have families and are working already.
And it's similar to ours, right? I mean, like my grandparents were married in early 20s. My dad was 2021 or something like that, maybe 22. So,
but see, that's still late.
I'm an outlier for myself. I'm like 27, not even.
But even your parents haven't late compared to my grandma's generation, where women were. So most people wouldn't even. Well, in the African American community, wouldn't even finish in school.
Okay. They
were dropping out in the 6th grade to go work and help the family.
Dang. Yep. That's a whole different.
Yes, and they'll be married. My grandmother told me stories about a lot of her classmates was pregnant and married with babies about 14, 15. So imagine that's 14, instead of like 8th grade, 8th, 9th grade.
I can see it. I know my memory. Yeah. I know exactly what classroom I was sitting in.
You know what I'm saying?
7th, 8th, 9th grade. I can tell you.
So she comes from that generation. And my thing is, so my grandmother, she left Jasper County at 18. She goes to Connecticut. Now, this is the part I found funny. My grandmother has always been a Christian. But if my grandmother was a Christian, the only person know is her and whoever.
Her and God himself.
Yeah, her and God. My grandma been saved for a long time. Probably since she was like 12 or something. And saved in the Christian community, what we call, she was devoted.
There you go.
She was devoted.
Devout. Yep.
Yeah, devout completely.
Yep.
So at 18, she went to move with her cousin. But I found this out from my uncle. Before she moved, she already had talked to her pastor and trying to figure out, did he know some saints in Connecticut that she could he could put her in touch with, so that she can get with them and go to church and figure stuff out.
For sure.
So find out. So my grandmother moves to Connecticut.
Yep.
With her first cousins.
There you go.
Find out her first cousin is a partier.
Eloise
McLeod by that time she went Eloise McLeod, should have been Eloise Polite. No ma'am. She couldn't take that, so she in the movement. She was out.
Okay.
So then she in the movement with one of the saints.
Sure.
From the church, and my grandma, she's a country girl.
Oh yeah.
And this time she meets my mother, and she meets my biological grandfather, which is my mom and her brother's father, which I didn't know. That's a long story.
Okay.
My step granddad, I thought he was my mother and father until their real father passed.
Dang.
Yeah, so that's a whole nother thing.
Yep.
But so he meets her and whatever at night. I'm gonna say 1920.
Mm-hmm.
So my grandma has. Let me see how many of them is it. I gotta count my uncles. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's 8 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 8 of them. She's the only girl, and she has 8 brothers.
Dang.
8
only
brothers.
Girl, 8 brothers.
She has 8 brothers. So what happens is, so she moves up there, a better life, and she starts going to nursing school.
Okay.
Better life. So what happens is, I guess, Eloise, the big sister, now move up to the city. And I'm pretty sure she's calling or writing letters at this time and telling them, what's going on and all the opportunities. So what happens is, each one of her brothers, they come move to Connecticut. They stay with her. But before my Uncle George told me it was a very short stay.
Okay.
They had an X amount of time to find them a job.
Yep.
And get out.
Okay.
Find them a job and get out.
Yep.
And she did this for I think he told me I got almost every one of them except a few. And I have an Uncle Leroy who stayed down here. He never went. He's the only.
Oh yeah.
He's the only brother.
I'll give you another story after. It
Okay.
reminded me of another story. Go ahead.
He's the only brother that didn't win.
Yep.
And those guys did that, and I laugh because these guys are these country boys.
Oh yeah.
They went up to the city and they all did good. And I have some lists of what they all became. I have Uncle Henry, who I hear. Congratulations, Uncle Henry. He's about either it happened yesterday, or it's gonna happen today. They're gonna have a ceremony for him because he's becoming a deputy chief.
Nice.
I have an Uncle Willie, who was a machine shop supervisor. He also had a clothing store.
There you go.
Uncle Gussie was in waste management. I had an Uncle Nelson who had a liquor store, had clubs. He also had a prosperous flooring business.
There you go. Entrepreneur.
He was an entrepreneur.
Yep.
I had an Uncle Nix who worked at a vote company. I had an Uncle Avon who was a preacher.
You got a lot of family, man.
Yeah, this is just my grandma's brothers. This ain't like no reaching like no cousins. I have a Uncle Earl who I never met because he died before I was born. He was a retired vet and worked for the utility company. Rumor was he was trying to retire at 35.
Dang.
This kind of money he was getting. Had my Uncle Leroy, who was an iron worker and a welder.
Yep. And
all those guys made it because they drive because of my grandma was the
driving force.
The force.
Yep.
And that's a strong thing in my family. Like I know if I was to be homeless, I think I would never be homeless. I can pretty confidently say that.
You can bank on it.
Find a job. And so my grandmother was that, and each brother, and at a certain point, my grandmother didn't have to do it no more because the other brother who's already established could get the other brother a job.
Yep, they'll take care of it.
Okay, I got you. Oh, you need a job? I got you. I know people because now they are connected.
Yep.
But why isn't the bond of my family, just as an example, that for the whole black community as it is for the brown community? Because all you guys are not related.
Oh, yeah. No, definitely.
And that's we're going to dispel the myth. Just like every Black Johnson is not related.
Yep.
Every Indian Patel is not cousins.
No, we ain't all related, I promise. We just from the same part of the country.
Yeah. and if you let them tell it, I heard it, they all cousins.
No.
So
they treat each other like cousins, though.
Okay.
They would. Even if they didn't know you.
They treat like cousins.
Yep.
But she's not
They'll
the
say
same.
what's up to you. And I think it's changing a little bit more so nowadays, at least with my generation, people, first generation here, maybe second generation here, if that's a possibility. But I mean, like if I ran into someone and it's like, okay, I see you, what's up, man? Like, how you doing? Where you from? Kind of thing like that. I couldn't say I would do that for everybody, but if they were Indian, I think it would be easier for me. Perhaps.
Just like I did a brother nod. Hey, what's up, bro?
Yep.
I don't know, but it's still not a. I was thinking go back to slavery. I don't care what this other thing about slavery.
Sure.
Because when you're taken from a place, captured, then people forget what happened after slavery. They still kill you, still hunt you down, segregation, Jim Crow. And so that's just like, it'll be different. That's why I think like Africans, like people from Nigeria and all those places, I think they succeed and they work so hard because they're coming from a place. They have a plan.
The motivation is real.
I am from Nigeria. I am going to America for this education, blah, 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 blah.
Yep.
And I think the reason why my polite family as an example did so good because my grandmother said, I'm leaving from down here. I'm going into the city. I have a plan.
Yep. I give you the same thing. I got my uncle. Remember I told you my uncle from Canada? He passed away. He was like the tree trunk for my mom's side of the family. He was the oldest brother. He's the first one to come. He got here, and he brought everyone over. He brought everyone over. There was not one person he didn't bring over from my mom's side. Not my grandparents, but my uncle. He
gotcha.
Right? He went to school at University of Texas for master's in mechanical. Once he got his job, he was killing it. Like even my grandparents, they dropped my mom off to his house, and my mom grew up. My aunt raised my mom, and my mom raised their kids. Like
Okay.
I mean, and that's what I'm going. I was telling you, like, the bond has been like that forever. Just like my mom, my grandma, my dad's side, the one that I go see pretty much every weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I told you, our people don't leave, man. My dad and uncle, they literally drove from home to the bus stop, took the bus to college every day, then rode the bus back to the car park, got the car and went home every day. They stayed at home. They didn't stay in college. None of that.
Wow.
Right.